Tattoos. We seem to have a lot of tattoo artists on the show.
It is Tattoo Month.
It is Tattoo Month, the month of October.
And then both our daughters have a lot of tattoos.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
But we do not.
Not yet, anyways. So our guest, we're fortunate to have Inkie. That is his pen name or stage name. His real name is Ephraim Adamus from Are You Tattooed?
I'm glad you pronounced it.
Yes, Are You Tattooed?
I did find out my daughter, that's where she got her first tattoo.
At his place?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And so, Are You Tattooed with Inkie? We film on location, and it's just really exciting to talk about the tattoo business with someone who's so passionate about it.
Oh, yes. And I learned a lot, even though we had a previous guest that was a tattoo artist, and he explained a lot. So
yeah, you can see there's a lot to the business and the field of art. So it's our pleasure to have Inkie. We're here at Are You Tattooed with Inkie, also known as Ephraim Adamus. Adamus, right?
Absolutely.
Or Adama.
I'm going by Inkie.
Leader of the against the Cylon Empire. I love it. And thank you for being on the show and with the third chair.
My pleasure.
And we are coming live from a tattoo parlor.
Absolutely.
And so let's start out talking a little bit about tattooing.
All right.
Tattooing. I just made up a saying, you got to know what you're doing if you're tattooing.
Absolutely.
You think that's got potential for a motto in the industry?
But the customers would be happy.
So tell me, what's the process? Someone has an idea, they want to get a tattoo. They walk through the front door. They come up to the desk. Take me from you greeting a customer who you've never met through them getting a tattoo. What happens?
Usually they come in, they end up having an idea that they come in packed with. Usually we have to, after we greet our client, unpack that idea.
Okay.
A lot of the ideas they come in with aren't exactly tattooable a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to work it so that it also fits the body part.
I can see that could potentially be a
you
problem.
can have a great drawing, but if it doesn't fit that person's body, you got to go back.
Absolutely. Some people come with ideas that are long. Some people come in ideas that are round, and we have round and long spots on our body.
Now, do people often come with like a picture, or is it more like you have to sort of interpret it like interpretive dance? Tell me what you're thinking, and so you're thinking about a sword. A long sword. What color is the sword?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Most people do come in with their own ideas. A lot of times they do come in with a picture. A lot of that do come in just with an idea. We're versed in it. The longer we do it, the more swords we've seen, the more daggers we've seen, the more roses, the more everything we've seen. So we just kind of elaborate on top of it to make it what they're thinking so that we can bring their ink dreams to life.
Do you ever have somebody come in and say, wow, you're a really good artist?
Absolutely, all the time. Everybody in here does.
Yes, I am.
Gotta stay in your lane, right? I am the greatest.
Well, if I came in and gave you a picture, you might not even know what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens. We do have to decipher some things and make sure we know exactly what we're tattooing.
Now, do you ever have like what is it? Do you remember when barbers used to have like the different haircuts in a book? You could flip through them. Do you have like different kinds of ideas, sort of in a compendium?
Yeah,
you can scroll through.
I've been fortunate enough to be able to be crossroads from the very, very early beginnings to where we are now. And in the beginning, shops were like that. The artists would draw their art up. They'd put it up on the walls. We call that flash. And someone would come in. They point at a picture. We'd grab it and put it on them.
Wow, nice. I just, I guess because people have access to the internet, you can see so many tattoos or cartoons, or they have different shows on that people really have a lot of resources to look at something and go, aha, I want that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Print off a copy and bring it in and like this.
Right. With the day and age now, the phones of having everything accessed at your fingertips, the world has grown. Where now most people are into more custom work. They don't want anything they can come in and point off of a wall because thousands of other people also have that.
Right. Oh, wow. And so, okay, so you figured out the idea. You've given them a price estimate, I assume, and a time estimate.
Absolutely.
And then they come in, and then like, do some people, let's say, are a little afraid of needles? Is there ever where you have people that either faint or you just have to go real slow and gentle?
Absolutely. That's where we come in as a professional. Make sure we let them know, stay hydrated, make sure you eat before this, make sure you're taking care of your body. Because most of the problems we run into is the excitement, and then they run their body dry and they come in super excited and they get touched with the pain and they'll faint real quick. So we got to help them out with some water or some chocolate to bring them back to life.
Now, I know that that's a small minority of people.
Absolutely.
But I have found of the friends I've had that want tattoos, it's the exact opposite. Like they're here, yeah, I'm ready to be needled. You know, I want to feel it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You are going to make my day by sticking a needle in me for 3 hours straight.
Usually once they get towards the end of it, they do change their mind a little bit. And they're like, wow, this is painful. And I can't believe I'm paying for this.
But at the end, though, when they look at the tattoo, does that make them happy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of times in the early days, people just got them as a representation of how tough they were, neighborhood they were from, any kind of field they were in, being in the Navy, being in the military of some sort, or anything like that. Now it's more representation of their own personal life. So loved ones, births, deaths, things like that.
Sure. Meaningful mottos.
Absolutely. Accomplishments.
Religious phrases, religious verses I've seen. Yeah, boy. And now, like, have you ever had people that like want to have like a tattoo party? Like someone wants a tattoo and they want to invite their friends and maybe have some chips and drinks in the lobby. well, they're watching like their best friend get needled.
Right. Once upon a time, that was a thing. Nowadays, that is not a thing.
Not so much a thing.
No. You can bring your friends and family, but they have to sit from afar. We have to make sure the procedure area is nice and clean and clear of clutter.
Sure. And I suppose if there's a bit of screaming, that can be unnerving to the crowd.
Are there any state regulations on that, or?
Absolutely.
It's
usually your artist and the client alone. If you have people around, we have a border around our shop so people can kind of stand around and look over and watch into the pit, but no one's allowed in there. But yeah, that is a state regulation. And then, of course, no food, no anything that can be harmful because it is an open wound.
And I assume also, if someone comes in, you detect they're inebriated or they're high or something.
Absolutely.
That's probably a reschedule or lose your deposit fee kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, boy. And then I know sometimes people have skin issues, either scars and stuff. Does that become a challenge?
It does. And we do prefer people coming in, explaining themselves of what design they like, and then actually reviewing the skin type, because there are some we cannot. There are some skin positions that people are in that it's just not possible.
Is there people like they have a skin problem, they want a tattoo here, but just well, maybe here would work, but not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get away with some skin imperfections. There are some people that come in that cover things that they've done in the past, such as self-harm, or they've gotten a motorcycle accident or some kind of burn that they want to cover up because they don't want it reminding. Now, we can't do anything with the skin. The skin stays damaged, but we can camouflage it in a way to where the only way you're going to see it is if you shine it in a light. You can kind of see the skin imperfection. But if you look at it, we can pretty much get rid of it.
Nice. I was talking with one tattoo artist in town. You'd know the name if I said it, but that has sort of a program that if someone, say, had a difficult time in their life, maybe they're involved in a gang with a lot of swastikas on their body and that, and they've come to a point maybe where they've changed their life and would like that not to show as much, and they want it like covered up somehow.
Right.
Is that something that you see often, or something that you do?
Absolutely. I tell a lot of my clientele because everybody has family that's going through something.
Yeah.
And every once in a while they'll say, I have this troubled teen that's turned his life around, but he has a gang tattoo. And I always tell him, bring him into me. I'd be more than happy to cover it up for him for free.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think that's an important part of the journey when people kind of change their life, because those external, it's a part of your story, but boy, you can sure be discriminated against if you're walking around with a swastika on your head.
No. Absolutely. No, very much so, because it sticks out like a sore thumb and nobody wants that.
Well, and here we have a question that we're going to have when we come back from our first break. And that is, I know tattooing is relatively safe, but is it possible that you can have a tattoo that kind of goes sour with infections or skin problems afterwards? We're going to get your take on that when we come right back.
All right.
Well, welcome back to the third chair, live on location here at Are You Tattooed? We're here with Inkie. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Although it's not Thursday night with the show. We're just alive here.
Yeah, well, technically I'm alive, so I view it as like a live show.
Yeah.
And that's questionable, the alive part.
Yeah.
I'm glad you explained that.
Yeah, so we have very serious questions that go on, and I know people ask. At least I've heard them asked about, okay, I get a tattoo. What's the chance of things getting infected? I know you have special wound care instructions you give. How often do you see problems like that?
They've been very far and few between. We're really good and detailed about what we do. All of us are completely disposable artists. So nothing is re-sterilized and reused at all. Everything is tossed out.
So the tools and the items are disposable as opposed to the artists.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, someone got infected, you're fired.
Right. And we do warn people, there are people that love their pets and they sleep with them, and we tell them,
and they lick wounds.
Right. Be careful with stuff like that. And unfortunately, we can't go home with you.
Yeah.
I can't baby you, and we're really strict about our instructions. We do absolutely everything we can to give them the best possible chance of not getting anything like that.
That's good. And so is it complicated? Is like when you walk out in the first 6 hours, are you washing with soap and water, or are you just kind of keeping it covered and clean? How complicated are the instructions after a tattoo?
Really depends on the aftercare the artist use. We're really forward thinking in our aftercare. We use a Tagaderm. Right afterwards, we clean it up. We Tagaderm it.
Yeah, it's like a clear.
Yeah, it's a clear bandage. Some people call it second skin in the industry. You want to leave that on 3 to 5 days. Peel it off in a shower, hand wash, and take care of it after that. It does a really good job. Unfortunately, as people, we are bad about healing anything for ourselves.
Sure.
So the more we touch it, the more we make issues. So we try to get it to a point where you don't have to touch it as much.
That's good. So another question. Okay. And I was asking one of your partners this in our pre-production meeting before we got going here. It seems like, at least what I've read online, you have tattoo artists that have problems with tendonitis in their hands when they've been doing it a long time, and maybe a lot of back pain. And I'm talking about after doing tattooing for a lot of years.
Right.
Is that something that you've seen or you struggle with?
Absolutely. Don't struggle with it personally. Been very blessed in that. But I do know a couple artists that definitely have back issues, have hand issues. The industry's really good at catching up to these things. We have ergonomic chairs. We have machines now that are lighter. I started with an old coil machine and a rotary hand machine. It's like a big marker, which is really light, really fun to wield, really amazing for the hands and for that. We used to wield these machines that were a couple, darn near a couple pounds each. They were huge.
They like going to the gym, like wielding like dumbbells?
They were humongous. They were humongous. They were cumbersome. It's a bunch of metal, super heavy, basically hanging off your hand, and it would pull your hand backward.
Well, I noticed too, and maybe it's just a stereotype, but at least it seemed a few years ago, it was like all the tattoo artists were like really big guys. So I'm thinking, they're carrying all this heavy equipment. They all look like they've been to the gym. Yeah, I'm going to tattoo you. Yeah. Do you think that there's ever, I don't know what the right word is, a bad stereotype of tattoo artists? Or if you think it exists, why do you think that exists?
Right. I think it's because of the humble beginnings of the tattoo artist. Once upon a time, it was just military. Then it was just military and bikers. It was just the rougher crowd. And I felt maybe the rougher crowd are the only ones that can handle it. It's definitely crossed over to where it's art. And all the guys that wield the tattoo machine are all really good artists. And they're not ruffians or tough people. They're not going to be aggressive and mean towards you at all.
Well, and that's good to hear. And also, too, I mean, I know way more women that aggressively get tattoos than men. I mean, I just do. I mean, my daughter, for one.
Woman to man, do you think?
I want to say in my own personal business, I want to say maybe 80 to 90% is female clientele.
Isn't that interesting?
That's surprising.
I was just going to say, we were here, for about an hour, and I saw like 3 women at your stations, and another woman walk in, and it was like, those numbers seem to jive.
We laugh a lot because we always say women handle it better than men do. Their pain tolerance is way better than ours.
Yeah, I can believe that. I don't have any pain tolerance. Both Peter and I, our daughters have like at least 8 or 9 tattoos each.
Right.
So I mean,
and I think it also kind of streamlines into the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
More men don't do body maintenance as much as women do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've never had a tattoo. I've got one that I'm planning on getting. It's a military kind of Canadian military type tattoo. Cool. That'll just be like a bicep one. And who knows, I might invite a few friends down and do it here.
Yeah, come check us out.
Yeah, because they want to see some screaming. Yeah,
right.
Do I get popcorn?
Yeah, we'll have to put the snacks outside or something.
Outside.
I don't have to bring the camera and videotape it.
I don't know if we can do that because there's any food around. Peter will eat it.
Right.
We're all about when Peter's experiencing pain on the show. It's a good thing.
So there's just a little bit too much excitement. They want to drop me into a pit of leeches as well. So
we've had women beat him up on the show.
Oh yeah. Some of our guests have been like trainers at 9-round kickboxing.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and they just seem to think it's fun to watch me getting choked out by someone who's an expert in Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something. I don't know. I got a strange bunch that I work with. So 3 or 4 ideas. What do you think makes a good tattoo artist? What are the qualities of the person? And let's just say, okay, it's a given. You have to have some sort of artistic skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's just say that. I'm sure there's some tattoo artists that don't, but let's say that the ones that survive do.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The number one is obviously art skill.
Right.
Second one, in my opinion, is thick skin.
Thick skin. Explain that. That's interesting.
We definitely have people that are not going to like your idea. They're not going to like your art. Or they see your art on somebody and it's going to get critiqued by another artist or a friend. And then you're going to hear about it. Or something is posted online about
they thought
your
that tattoo was stupid.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And in artist opinion, in the circles that I've run in, clean lines, good saturation, not a lot of trauma to the skin, very clean, beautiful tattoo. It's a good tattoo. Art is always in the eye of the beholder.
Sure, and I was looking at one of your partners' work, a lady that had some really beautiful bright colors on her arm that was just walking in before we, before we set up. And I was really impressed. But isn't it also, though, true, you can have some people with some kinds of skin tones, perhaps African Americans, where it's hard to get bright colors
Absolutely.
or can you get like bright whites on a
Right? No, not at all. What a lot of people don't understand is you're looking at a tattoo through the window of your skin tone. So the lighter tone that you are, the more you're going to see everything that the artist does. And the darker skin tones, we really have to watch out with certain colors. Some can work. We use reds and blues, some golds, but you always want to go as bright as you can because the skin is definitely going to tone it down.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I would say most of the tattoos that I've seen on darker skinned people look like really dark tattoos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mostly done in just black work.
Yeah, I was going to say, I assume that there was a reason for that.
Absolutely.
So when we come back from our break, the last question I'm going to have before Doug takes over is, are there tattoo artists that you study? I mean, I know there's been there's been like Miami Ink, and there's different shows on YouTube. Are there people that have inspired you or works that you've studied to get some ideas or steal some ideas?
Right, absolutely.
We'll answer that when we come right back.
Right.
Doug, most of our viewers and followers know that our new episodes come out on YouTube on Thursday nights.
Right.
But we have a new announcement about the third chair.
Exciting announcement.
Starting with the older episodes, they're now going to be on a TV channel.
Yes, very exciting.
So the TV channel is with the Pikes Peak Library District, Comcast Channel 17 here in Colorado Springs. And I believe the episodes are going to play at 7 o'clock at night, but they may cycle them, and who knows, maybe they'll be on at 2 or 3 in the morning. So if you're in Colorado Springs and you have Comcast and access to Channel 17, you're able to watch the third chair. The episodes are edited a little bit shorter. Some of the commercials are taken out on TV.
It should be exciting.
Yeah, I can finally tell my friends I'm really on TV.
We could tell them we're TV stars.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the third chair. I'm Peter. That's Doug, and we're here with Inkie at Are You Tattooed? Thanks for being here. We left off at the break asking a question. Are there tattoo artists that you admire or study or get some cool ideas from? I know I seem to remember lots of shows on YouTube and on TV. I don't know if those are all sort of international celebrities in the tattoo world. How do you learn new ideas? Do you study people?
Absolutely. We study other artists. We follow other artists. Social media has been really good to us, and there's a lot of artistry out there, and there's a lot of different techniques of going about the business. There's always new techniques. There's always things of what we really are studying is a beautiful piece with light trauma to the skin. The last thing you want to do is hurt someone's skin.
Sure. Yeah, wow. I mean, do you get like a magazine like Tattoo World?
Right. Some of those can be helpful. Most of the guys are online. They do have videos that they sell, and some of them do have programs that you can pay and go visit and sit in a classroom setting and actually pick their brain.
Oh, wow. That'd be good.
Absolutely, which is a lot of fun because there's some world-renowned guys out there that have been doing it. They're well-versed in what they do, and they're willing to share, which is great about our community.
Mm-hmm. Well, you remember, who's the painter that always, and I'm drawing a tree like
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. Is there anyone that does tattoo videos like that? That is your tree, and you can make it the way you want. That is teaching tattoo colors.
The teaching's slightly different. It's not quite like that. But Bob Ross, I love watching his film. I love watching all artists. They're amazing people.
Well, what I thought was interesting about Bob Ross is like his videos is like they could put you to sleep if you can't sleep.
Right.
You just play that and
When I was watching him as a younger artist, it always blow my mind that he could do something from nothing.
Yeah.
I'd always look at a painting and then he'd go, let's do this. I'm like, you ruined it. And then it'd be some big, beautiful cabin or something else elaborate. And I'm like, wow. I really would love to sit down with this guy and pick his brain.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, you might have to trade, your car to do that or something like that.
No.
I bet he charges a pretty penny. I'm not even sure if he's still alive.
I don't think he is.
No, he's passed. But he would have been an amazing guy to sit down with.
Sure. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, we're going to talk about your tattoos.
Cool.
One thing I noticed, because Peter's daughter has a lot of color in her, my daughter hardly ever does color. And I noticed when I first met you, you don't have any color either.
I don't. And one of those reasons is, like we spoke about earlier, is because of my skin tone. Because I do have a deeper skin tone, especially in the summertime. The colors aren't as vibrant. They don't show the way I would like them to reflect.
Sure.
So, do you have colors anywhere?
I do. I do have a couple on my legs. I do have one on my chest that has some color in it, but I think that's the extent of it.
About how many tattoos do you have? Do you have them all over your body?
I've got one. They just connect. No.
There you go.
They've been connecting, and I'm working on a bodysuit. So yeah, they're everywhere.
So you would be like the tattoo man,
right? The
Ray
illustrated
Bradbury,
man.
illustrated man, Ray Bradbury. Yes. Now I noticed you got some on your head.
Absolutely.
And see, I heard, I think from watching Ink Masters, that's painful.
It's supposed to be one of the most painful body parts in your body. I didn't have a difficult time with it. I thought it was pretty easy to get through.
Maybe I'm just being a coward, but I can think of some other spots I would hurt way more.
I didn't say it was the worst, but it says it can
We
cause a
won't
lot of
discuss
pain.
that on this show.
Well, I was going to ask, without being too graphic, what is the most painful part?
We always say
you ever
anything
got?
where the skin is thin and you're running over like bone. So rib cage, kneecaps, wrist, ankles, feet, head.
So do you have any on your ribs? Because I would guess that's
I
very
kind
painful.
of do. I've been working on it. I have a big heart right here and some flames. I have 2 wings that run underneath my pecs.
That
and kind
sounds
of
like
run
a
on
lot of on your ribs.
Do you practice on yourself, or do you have other people?
In the beginning,
other
I
people
did.
you go to?
No,
now
in the
that-
beginning I did. I practiced on myself. It's kind of a what would you call that? A rite of passage for an artist. Every artist out there has one they've done on themselves, at least one, if not an entire leg.
Yeah, is yours still visible, or did you?
Yeah, absolutely, running up and down my arms, running up and down my legs. I have all kinds of practice.
Now, does your wife ever say, "Honey, you've had enough tattoos. It's time to just you've got 3/4 of your body done. That's enough."
Right. No,
Yeah.
my wife is like me. She's a glutton for the ink as well.
Oh, is she really?
She's almost completely.
Because I thought you
covered.
said she was like a farm girl.
She is, but she's almost completely covered.
Oh, wow.
Neck
So
to
is her
toe.
black and white mostly, or is her
She has a lot of color.
has
She
a lot
likes a lot of color, but she has been doing her recent untaking is blacking out her arms, and then we're doing white tattoos on top of it, which is a weird kind of transition to do.
Does that scare the horses?
Right.
Oh, you have horses?
Wife is a big horser.
Oh, okay.
Not me.
No.
Not into horses.
I wonder if they notice that at all. Like, oh, what is all that stuff on her arm?
I wonder. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So do pets ever get tattoos, or?
They do, but mostly for identification in case they get lost.
All
Numbers
right.
inside the ears, stuff like
right,
that.
stuff like that.
You will see a random somewhere.
Not their favorite human.
Right. You'll see a couple tattoo artists randomly. They'll go after a pig hide or something, and a pig will be running around with all these cool tattoos on it and stuff. But it's very far and few between.
Oh man, is there a subspecialty like veterinary tattooing, or just can anyone do it?
I think it is through veterinary. We do have a lot of strict rules of things we can and can't do. As tattoo artists in this city, we're not allowed to tattoo the face. Facial stuff for like women doing eyeliner, facial stuff. You have to have an aesthetics degree to get that.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's interesting. What on your body? What is your favorite tattoo?
I don't know. I love them all. I absolutely love them. My favorite's always the ones of my faith. So I have Galatians 6:17 on my hand.
Oh, wow.
And in my head, we try to tackle the top of the Sistine Chapel, But unfortunately, my head doesn't have a lot of canvas. So the heads would have been really, really, really tiny. So we just took the heads themselves. So I do have God on one side, I have Adam on the other, and I have a cross in the back and roses on top.
Do you have a fingers in between?
I was going to, but again,
No,
their hands would have been so small.
Sistine Chapel, like Michelangelo.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
So
the little
if you look at it,
cherubims,
yep.
the naked little floaty thing.
Yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely. In the tattoo world, because skin is not like paper, so we can't put lines very close together. If you do, eventually they're going to swell and they're going to touch.
Oh, okay.
So you have to be really careful. You have to have nice gap skin. There's a lot of people running around with names on their bodies, and they kind of blur together. And that's usually a tattoo artist that is either not very versed in it or try to force the issue and make it that small. We do have tiny needles where we can do things, but you want to be very responsible, because when you get those too close, they will touch.
Oh, wow.
Now you bring that up. It just brought to mind. Suppose someone came and they wanted something like that.
Right.
How do you try to talk them out of it, because you know that
Right.
this is not going
Right.
to look good in the long run.
Right. Fortunately for us, or unfortunately, tattoos are really expensive. So it's kind of really easy to tell someone, you want to spend a couple $100 on something that's really not going to look good.
You probably
Be a
want to
waste
cover
of
it
time,
up in a
right?
couple of years.
Absolutely. So it's really nice that we do have a clientele base that is very open to listening to the professional on the subject.
Mhm. Yeah, because I can see the ethics of that. If you said, "Sure, I'll take your money. I'll do that."
Right.
Yeah. We
Right.
can do you right now.
Which I always say is the
Yeah.
difference between a great shop and a poor shop.
Mhm.
Because there are people out there that will try to rob the industry, and they'll jump in, and they may be great artists, but they're just trying to collect money. And we're not those type of artists. We're wanting to promote the industry, and we like to do really, really good art.
And when we come back, Peter's going to ask you some more questions on your tattoo business.
Cool.
All right. That's news to me. Welcome back to the third chair. I'm Peter. We still have Doug here, and we have our special
Drinking
guest,
Doug.
Drinking Doug. Yes.
We're not saying what he's drinking.
Yeah, it's just water.
Water. With the
Water.
quotation
It's
marks.
officially water. Although we've recently had a guest that we had on our show that said he would feel better if he drank his pineapple pineapple juice and vodka during the show, and so we let him have a nibble here and there. So thank you for being on again, and we're going to talk a little bit about business.
Cool.
Because I think one of the cool things about a tattoo business is that people basically pay their bill at least significantly up front, or totally up front, or fairly quickly after receiving the service, which is like really different than like doctors who send the information to an insurance company and a year later yeah. So I know people are always interested. Well, like, the business model of a tattoo parlor. And so, what kinds of things have you learned about running a successful business? I know you've talked about some of them providing a good product that looks good, but what other
Right.
things have you think's been important to contributing to the success of this parlor?
Same business model as most businesses. No matter how big your bank account is growing, it can be false. We do have a lot of equipment to buy, lots of ink, lots of needles, lots of supplies. There are a lot of things that we run into that a lot of people don't necessarily understand what we have to go through. Our coordinates with the health department.
Yep.
We have to have a separate body that comes and takes our needles and everything. We have to purchase that from a third party that comes in and recycles all of our bad because it is all bio waste. And we have to take care of all that
OSHA
stuff.
requirements.
Absolutely. OSHA comes in.
Blood-borne needle. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of sort of unexpected costs.
Absolutely.
People
Going through testing, going through everything, not to mention keeping the beauty of the shop looking good of somebody wanting to come in.
So, Doug was an auditor with the Department of Defense for a long time, and so he is used to looking at like budgets and profit and loss and statements. I mean, so
the Army never made a profit.
That would
At
certainly.
least it's not supposed to.
Yeah. So you had a lot of negative numbers.
They pretty much were able to succeed at that part of it.
Yeah, we'll solve your war if you pass.
Well, Doug has had more than one conversation with the general about his budget. Where's that missing 10 million? Oh, hey, what do you mean you bought 10 tanks? Yeah. I mean, so is there a pretty active that, sort of watching your expenses and trying to plan for the future?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do personally for my business. I have a business model set up. I have my computer set up. I do see my profit and loss. I see absolutely everything. I see every dime that moves.
So you have a software program to kind of track it?
Yeah.
Cool. So
do you own taxes?
I do not. I have a wonderful CPA.
That's nice. So things are complicated enough and you're sophisticated enough to use some of this leading edge.
Absolutely, because we don't only just take cash, we take credit.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to worry about that part of the business as well. But we have to watch every dollar that comes and goes because the IRS doesn't play any games.
No, they don't. Has anyone ever wanted to barter? Like brought in like a horse. It's like, I want a tattoo of Godzilla on my back in exchange for Lucifer the horse.
Right. No, it happens. Some people are like, hey, I have this motorcycle. I'd love to get this arm sleeve. I'll trade you. But stuff like that isn't a reality in our world. We have to account for everything.
Sure. I mean, you possibly could, but it's like you might be able to do that once.
Right.
I mean, still report it all and everything, but it's like, how many things can you barter for?
Right.
Right. Honey, I'm having a trout farm built in the backyard. Well, I just bring it up. I had a friend who was an accountant in northern British Columbia during hard times, and people for his CPA services, people brought him horses and salmon and fish and bear hides. And,
every time we run into something like that here in the shop, we actually would rather do free services for something such as sex trafficking or some kind of great cause.
Right. So, and just so that there's not a misunderstanding, you give money to organizations that fight sex trafficking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'd rather give them a gift card saying, hey, we'll provide 6 hours of service per artist or 16 or 20 or whatever it takes for people to unlock their wallet so that we can help fight that.
Nice. And then, did you take business courses, or was this something you kind of learned?
School of Hard Knocks.
The School of Hard Knocks.
School of Hard Knocks.
University of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking to other artists who have
tripping and falling, owing the IRS money, having to make that up with my CPA, the whole 9 yards, which I am more than happy to lend to other artists because it can be a difficult road.
Oh, for sure. Now, do you see in the tattoo business, or did you experience it yourself, the opportunity to do an apprenticeship with somebody, or provide apprenticeship opportunities? What's been your experience with that?
Absolutely. We've had, I believe, since I've been here, maybe about 6 or 7 apprentices, and we've had 2 pan out. It's a very, very difficult industry. Mm-hmm. And they have to understand, they have to dedicate their lives to this. And in this shop, when you are done with your apprenticeship, you could turn the keys to your own shop.
All right, so it's a really pretty intense experience.
Absolutely. We do not take that lightly.
How many artists do you have back there?
Back here currently we just lost one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of us and 1 piercer.
So if you had a apprentice do all 4 of you, kind of
one artist takes them under their wing, and we usually all help that one artist. Okay. Because there's a lot of things, and sometimes the artist could be busy with something and we're not doing anything, and we can lend a helping hand with art or how to hold a particular thing in their hand or how to talk to someone.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
How long do you have? Does somebody comes here, and before they can get to do a tattoo?
Really depends on that person, how hungry they are to learn the craft. It's been an average of approximately 2 years. You could do it faster. We like to do it slower. We want to make sure that you're very proficient at what you're doing. We don't want to throw you to the wolves, so to speak.
So you're talking about functioning independently?
Absolutely.
2 years. Were you asking, Doug, if you come here as a rookie, how long will it take? How many weeks or days before they let you hold the pen and do something?
Make a line.
Yeah,
right.
Make a line. Hey, I made a line today.
Right. Doug's looking for his new career.
Right.
I don't think I even passed the first qualification. Draw a straight line.
Well, there's many different levels from the rookie to the experience that's looking for another home.
So I sort of view this in some ways sort of like the healthcare field industry. It's not a little bit more of a luxury, clearly
Absolutely.
No one has to get a tattoo.
Absolutely.
But you have the same level though of a sort of a mindset of doing a good job and being careful and not hurting anybody and charging a fair price on all these things.
Absolutely.
And so what that also tells me, though, it'd be easy to burn out here, putting in so much time and effort that you get exhausted and burned out, and maybe even begin to not care as much. Have you noticed that in the industry, and what do you do to prevent that from happening to yourself?
Right. I have seen a lot of artists burn out. Usually they just quit the industry. A lot of us in here, we're a very lively bunch. We'll sing with each other. We keep movies on. We keep it always entertaining. But you have to have a passion for what you do. When you love what you do, you don't ever work.
Yeah, that's true. But I also think that it's important also that when people go home, they have some time to themselves.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Or whatever turns your crank at home.
Right. No, there's a rule in our household, phones go away, business goes away. There's no talking about it. Work stays at work.
Work stays at work.
Work stays at work.
Work stays at work. That's good.
Absolutely. Last thing my wife wants to hear about is my client, or I did this, or me and the guys in the shop, and we went and did that. And she's like, same song and dance to me every day, even though it's brand new to me every day, because I love it, because it's such a passion.
That's so awesome. Well, when we come back, we are going to have a final segment for the show, and we'll have you think about what type of contact information that you'd like us to flash on the screen.
Oh, cool.
Are you taking new clients, this type of thing.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about that and a few other things when we come right back. Hi, I'm Peter from Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching, and as you know, I do help people with drug and alcohol recovery issues. I love to help people get better, but I also offer a variety of other services, including regular life coaching services. I've helped several people write and finish a book. I've helped a doctor that was in medical school graduate and then get into a residency. And I also actually have quite a background in mathematics, and I do some math tutoring for the GED as well as the ASVAB for those that are thinking about a career in the military. So my contact information is on the screen. Please send me an email or a text, and we can talk about some of these services and how I can help. That's Peter Grigg at Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. Welcome back to the third chair. I'm Peter. That is still Doug, and we're here with Inkie at Are You Tattooed here in beautiful Colorado Springs. And we've been talking about some business things and artists burning out and that sort of thing. And I guess, how did you know when a career in tattooing was right for you? Did you wake up with an epiphany, a message in the sky from God? How did you know? You will tattoo.
When I first got into the industry, it was kind of a hobby, kind of an extra way to make a little extra cash. Found these guys here, been a really big blessing in my life. And our former owner, Chicago, Tim Dunn Sr., approached me one day and said, "Why don't you do this for a living?" And the light bulb kind of went off. It was pretty quick and easy. He said, "Take a step out in faith. You're good enough." And I did, and never looked back.
So if you were advising a young person that was thinking about this,
right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I imagine some parents are going to say things like, "You want to do what?"
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But at least a lot of the artists I've talked to, I mean, you can make a very decent living.
Absolutely.
As a tattoo artist.
Absolutely.
Use your creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. I've raised 3 children, got a home, couple cars, motorcycle. Absolutely. You can definitely take care of yourself on what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
So how old are your kids?
My kids are 27, 22, and 21.
Do they have tattoos?
They all have tattoos.
So like their parents.
Right. No neck, no face, no hands. That's the rule. Only dad can do that.
And of course, I'm sure you get like military people that come through that
absolutely
give you, okay, I can't have them on my fingers. And
right.
Yeah,
we also have to worry about the dress uniform, so it's usually about an inch or 2 from the wrist up.
Sure. I remember my youngest daughter with tattoos at one point was thinking about enlisting with the Marines, and they loved a lot of things about her, and except that she had tattoos on her fingers, and they said you'd have to figure out how to get that removed, which I understand can be tricky and painful and expensive. And absolutely, yeah. So I'm assuming here at Are You Tattooed that you guys are still taking clients.
We are.
And so what is the best way? I mean, because walking in here is a little intimidating. It's a little, you're a friendly bunch, but it's a little bit scary to walk in. Yeah, and so if people want to contact you or the receptionist here, what's the best way of doing that?
First and foremost, again, is absolutely coming in. But we do have a website, areyoutattooed.com. And you can get a hold of links to all the artists and talk to them individually if you like a particular artist and the way they work.
And suppose that somebody doesn't know what they want. They don't even know which tattoo artist they want. Do you guys have some sort of rotation, like, okay, who's up for the next person that really doesn't care? Absolutely. Yeah, okay, Joe, it's your turn.
Right.
Yeah.
And we also have a feel for the person. If a young lady comes in and she wants something that can be in a place that is going to make her feel a little awkward with a male artist, we'll stick her with our female artist, because that's not fair to her. She shouldn't have to subject herself to a man if she doesn't want to. Sure. We also have some people that specialize in particular areas. So there are some that are more versed in certain areas than others. Or if you want to come in and get an anime tattoo, we have an artist that's like absolutely in love with anime work. Oh, wow. Or realism. We have artists that absolutely love realism. So we'll stick them with the right artist.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then, the website's a good place.
Absolutely.
And there's a phone number on the website.
Phone number, way to contact every single artist, address to the shop, directions, absolutely everything you need to get a hold of us.
Beautiful. Thank you for being on. You've graciously agreed to come back next week. So we're going to ask people to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon so you know when we've uploaded another episode. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you all next week.
This has been The Third Chair. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Want to be a guest? Want to sponsor our show? Send us